Welcome to episode 9 of Dad by Daylight. Stay at home, Dad. In this episode, I will be discussing the beginning of my journey of being a stay at home dad. From getting laid off, to doing a mix of contract work, to finally committing to be a stay at home dad. I will discuss how I had to think differently about who I am, my relationship with work, and who I can be moving forward. As with all these episodes, this is a very personal discussion about my life, so I hope you find something that you resonate with. I'm really looking forward to this one, so take it away, episode Joe. Damn, nice job, intro me. This may be my favorite topic so far, so let's get right into it. This part of my life started when I was laid off from my job in the August of 2024. I had been a surface chemist at my job for about 3 years, and generally working in biotech for about 17. The layoff came as a shock to me, but nothing I hadn't been through before. To set up my relationship with work a bit, I need to give you a little bit of backstory. I had been laid off before in 2011, and that hit me like a freight train. I was absolutely devastated. Without realizing it, I was already at a pretty low point in my life, and this made things so much worse. During the 6 months I was unemployed, I literally gained 60 pounds and would drink a handle of vodka every 3 to 4 days. Pretty dark stuff. I did eventually get a job, the place where I would meet Madeline, funnily enough, but a lot of damage was done. It would take about 10 years to get my drinking under control, and 12 years to start getting my weight under control. All this stems from how losing my job really shattered my identity. Ever since I started to work as a scientist, that is what I considered myself to be. I was my job. It took being laid off, seeing others who were laid off with me, to realize that no company cares about you no matter how much they talk about being a big family. In the end, the company just wants you to work harder for less and dispose of you when they see fit. This set in motion how I generally see working at a job. It is just that, a job. It is not me. A company rents my most precious resource, my time, in exchange for pay. Every company does this for everybody. I'm getting a bit off topic and in the weeds here, but we live in a world where all companies take advantage of our labor. Any and all work should pay enough for all of us at the bare minimum to have a roof over our heads, to have enough to eat, and to have health and dental insurance. In fact, our social safety nets should provide the same for all. But I digress. Upon being laid off the second time, I talked with Madeline about what we should do moving forward. Now, we are extremely lucky. I really want to emphasize that we are very lucky. I have been very well employed for a long time, so I've been able to save up a decent amount of money that I can still live off and contribute to the household a bit. And James and I are already on Madeline's insurance. Madeline is a director at an extremely stable job and makes enough to pay for the bills month to month by herself. She is the breadwinner. So with all that in mind, I really didn't have a drive to absolutely need to get a job immediately. Since that second layoff, I've worked maybe 5 months between 2 temporary contract jobs, but that's about it. The rest of the 19 or so months, I've been a stay-at-home dad. I still look for work, but only on Mondays, because I can only take so many rejection letters in a week. It is still a bit disheartening to have never made it out of the application phase, but I think a mix of a tough job market, being very selective about where I apply, and my absolute refusal to use AI even on my resume make for a very difficult journey in finding a job. Again, I am very lucky to not have to have an income right now. Normally, I would be looking for any and everything, but right now I just have the luxury of being selective. Now, the life of a stay-at-home dad was completely foreign to me from the start. The only way I really knew how to look at it was through the lens of a job. Work starts when James wakes up, pauses when he takes a nap, that's when I get my break, and ends when he goes to bed at night. The waking hours, you're on the clock. The biggest difference for me, though, was how I felt about this work. At a normal job, I cared enough not to get fired, although clearly enough not to get laid off. But when the day was over at work, I was over caring. Now, as a dad, I really always care. I stress that any mistake I might make could have a permanent effect on James. And even the little things like, is he getting too much screen time? Is he eating enough? Is his nap too long, too short? All these little things will weigh on my mind because I just care a lot. It's so much less foreign to me as it was in the beginning, but that's because I've just had a very intense hands-on training period. At first, being a stay-at-home dad was really easy. At 6 months old, James didn't really want for much except to eat, sleep, be changed, and just be talked to. As he got older, his demands increased exponentially. Now, most waking moments, I need to engage with him in some way. A real challenge is to make sure that this engagement and time spent together is not only fun, but also lends to his growth, either educationally or physically in some way. Finding free activities like the public parks or the library, or one-time pay memberships like the Oakland Zoo or the Lindsay Wildlife Museum have been invaluable. I've really found that the easiest method was just to take him to a park and hike around. We have a great little park near us that has a nice play structure right next to some really nice hiking trails. So most days, we spend about 2-ish hours at this park in the morning, just going on swings, going on the slide, kicking a ball around, picking up sticks and rocks and throwing them in the trash, chasing birds around, or just hiking on the trails. Surprisingly, doing the same thing every day does not really get old for a 2-year-old. So I would suggest just find something that you both enjoy and that works well and just do it several times a week. It's really so fun and rewarding just to watch him develop every day, and I'm sure it will be for you too. And during this time of watching him develop, I feel like I'm developing as well as dad. Malin has told me she's so proud of me, but is a bit jealous of the relationship I have with James. James will often ask for me before his mom, and he will get upset with me. He'll just get upset when I leave the house without him. I can read his emotions and thoughts just as well as she can. A lot of things that are traditionally considered the mother's domain are really the mom and dad's domain in our house, and I'm really proud of that. Our bond is really strong, and it's just awesome to be with him. These days, it's funny to meet up with ex-coworkers, especially those who are parents. The first thing most ex-coworkers talk about is how tough the job market is, and how they'll keep an eye out for any job openings for me, which they really follow through with, and they'll often send along jobs or put in a good word for me at a company, and that's really kind of them, and I really appreciate that. The second thing that most parent ex-coworkers talk about, but especially the dads, is how jealous they are of me when I talk about what I'm doing. I cannot tell you how many times I've talked about my day and other dads will go on and on about how I'm truly living the life. They cannot believe how lucky I am. The longer I go on as stay-at-home dad is the more I feel like that as well. Describing my relationship with James feels so unreal to so many other parents, and I really actually feel bad telling a lot of them because I am so lucky. Now, this time I have spent with James, had I had a job, could have been spent, figuring out how to more efficiently stick DNA to glass in a low salt buffer. And comparing that with what I've actually been doing with James, that just doesn't sound all that great. Now, I don't know if I would have been saying the same 2 years ago before I started this stay-at-home dad journey. Thinking about all this does make me want to go back on my soapbox for a bit. We live in a world where, for a lot of our lives, we are meat for the machine, to be ground up and make money for someone else. It makes me sad that it took my life completely shaking up during the second layoff to fully appreciate how lucky I am and that I am so much more than just my job. I don't know the exact solution moving forward, but there has to be a better way for all of us. So my final advice for today is, if you can, stay at home, Dad. Stay at home with your kids as much as you can. Stay at home with your friends and family as much as you can. Those are the moments that are truly worth being jealous about. With all that said, I hope you find something in this episode to be entertaining or educational. Next episode, I will discuss what a day in the life of a stay-at-home dad looks like. We will go into more detail about what works and what doesn't work on a day-to-day basis. I wish you all the best, but especially those of you struggling every day. Remember to be kind to one another. We're all in this together. Bye-bye.